Paul, welcome to the Leanpub launch video for Crafting Conflict Volume 1, Managing Saboteur Patterns in High-Performing Teams. I was wondering if you could take a moment to talk to us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do and what your book is about and who it's for.
So I am a DevOps and operations in the cloud professional. I work in high risk environments. I currently work in healthcare, in both the public space and also in the defense space. So I work in highly regulated environments. And as such, I work under high pressure situations. The teams I lead work under high pressure situations, where lives matter. Our work impacts people's lives. Uh, you know,
And yeah, one question I have for you is that so when did you so your book is about managing conflict basically,
Mhm.
not making it go away, very very key part of your book. But how did you find yourself? I mean, I'm looking at your LinkedIn and you've got a technical background. How did you get into kind of conflict resolution and managing conflict?
well, it's it's kind of crucial as you transition from a technical leader to a people leader,
Right.
to be able to manage how your technical teams are interacting with each other, especially within the team itself. You're going to have lots of um, passionate people, and when you have lots of passionate people, they're going to have difference of opinions, and that's where people start rubbing each other the wrong way. Not only that, we all heard the tropes about, your obnoxious, brilliant engineer. Um, and I didn't in the book. I don't even really talk about that one, that trope. Um, I focus more on how conflict affects the team and in some unexpected ways that you might think something's not really conflict, but it is. One such pattern might be the hero-martyr. You might think, oh, this is just somebody who's going above and beyond, but really that'll suck the air out of a team if you have someone who is constantly just jumping in, doesn't allow other people to work through and figure other problems out. Um, it does cause problems down the stream. And then you run into some people will just quietly disengage. They'll Some people get very cynical, and then even the hero-martyr will get cynical, and burn out.
I wanted to ask you about that. So you've got a really great page here where you talk about the 6 saboteur patterns.
Mhm.
And it's really, I love really great. Like part of the purpose of the book is to give people a kind of shared kind of language and terminology that they can use to talk about these various, patterns and resolution procedures and things like that. And so you rank the hero martyr at medium risk impact, but you rank the cynic at high risk impact. And the cynic has a core belief that this is all broken and pointless. Why is the cynic a higher kind of impact or risk than the hero martyr?
The cynic is, um, he's he or she, and again, it's not an individual. This is really important, and I call this out repeatedly in the book. It's These are behaviors. These aren't people. And I just caught myself saying
Yeah.
the individual. So that's why I wanted to say that these are behaviors. These aren't people, that I'm talking about. So when you see this behavior, this behavior is very toxic. Oftentimes, it'll be, and it's important to distinguish from when this is a toxic behavior versus when this is a reality check, because that there are times where you do need to go, hey, this has been bad, this is broken, and it's legitimate. Uh, but oftentimes you'll have people who are exhausted, and this is how their burnout is playing out. And they are saying things like, oh, this is broken, this will never work. They're not offering any evidence. All they're doing is derailing your scrum meetings or your design meetings, and it really discourages everybody around them. So people stop. They stop trying to participate. They stop contributing. They're like, well, so and so is a senior person, and they're saying that this is never going to work. So why are we even going to bother trying? It just sucks the energy right out of the team. And I call it's corrosive.
Mhm.
So you have to stop that as soon as you can, right? It's a matter of, and I'm a big believer in trying to stop it. And I talk about this in the book. You want to stop it immediately in the moment. You don't want to be like harsh, and you need to follow up very quickly in a one-on-one with repair. And that you have to do that, because if you don't, you run the risk of alienating the person. And if they get alienated, there's not a chance of recovery, right? And I do in the book, I do talk about the path to recovery and reintegration. Um,
Yeah, one thing I really like about the sort of procedures that you set out in the book for resolving or ameliorating various conflict issues is this distinction between private and public, or what you do in front of other people and what you do one on one. And it's very important to keep in mind what's appropriate for one and practical in one dimension and what is not in that same dimension. So say there's certain kinds of things that you can say to people or talk with people about in private that you wouldn't want to do in public, because there's kind of like implications to doing things in front of other people that there aren't for doing things in private. Um, there's so much more in this book that we could talk about. For example, the forge metaphor, which I really like. The fact that you talk very in a way that really appealed to me about language, about how important it is to not just kind of impose your dialect on
Mhm.
other people when and to actually understand what they mean when they say things in the context that they're working in. And this can actually, like, it doesn't necessarily mean you go look it up in the dictionary. You'd like to know what someone means when they do say something in a certain context. You need to understand their context. You need to speak with an awareness of that context when you speak with them. It's a really great book. It's Crafting Conflict Volume 1, Managing Saboteur Patterns in High Performing Teams. Paul, thank you so much for taking the time to do this video with us. And I look forward to doing more with you about your other books as well.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I appreciate the time. And yeah, I can absolutely talk about this. There's things I wanted to talk about. Um, Cross culture. I talk about that. We talk about neurodivergency a little bit in the book, because it's important. A lot of these things can show up in neurodivergence. You need to be aware and take in account of that, and that's very important to me as a neurodivergent myself. Yeah, thank you so much for your time, and I've looked forward to the next one.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, take care.